darkness, I rise and say my prayer. Little piece of bread to my mouth, little tea to wash it out. It's my daily tribulation, even though I'm a working man. I work so hard to make ends meet, so yeah, with one suit and one shoe to my feet. Days are getting so hard, yeah, but I got to keep on pushing on this 9 to 5, working to stay alive. On my 9 to 5, working till sun goes down. As the sun sets in the west, I pack my things and head on home, thinking about tomorrow's journey as I try these streets alone. It's my daily tribulation, oh yeah, searching for liberation, yeah. Got to step out of Babylon, take a step to Mount Zion. Days are getting so hard, yeah, but I got to keep on pushing on this 9 to 5, working to stay alive. Oh, on this 9 to 5, yeah, working till sun goes down, sun goes down. Oh, days are getting so hard, yeah, but I got to keep on pushing on this 9 to 5, working to stay alive. Oh, on this 9 to 5, working till the sun goes down, sun goes down, sun goes. On this 9 to 5, yeah, working to stay alive. Oh, on this 9 to 5, yeah, working till the sun goes down. Oh Lord, got to keep working, got to keep working.
Well, let's try it again. I'm Al McFarlane. Welcome to Converse with Al McFarlane. I'm glad to have you along. Wednesday, we dedicate to talking about entrepreneurship, and the particular niche of entrepreneurship that we're talking about is the broad and brilliant pathway being created by Black women. Our guests on Wednesdays through the month of December and January are members of the B Marketplace. The B Marketplace is an initiative of the Black Women's Wealth Alliance. The idea of the alliance itself is innovative, important, groundbreaking, and one of the products of the alliance, a visionary strategy of creating generational wealth in the Black community by focusing on and empowering Black women to pursue their entrepreneurial genius to develop, their businesses, their products, and their standing in the marketplace. To have that appreciated, to have it understood, and to sort of have that entrepreneurial drive be a defining characteristic of who we are as people, and to have that rest squarely in the heart and mind and the spirit of Black women who lead and lead in a very powerful way. So I'm pleased to continue this series of discussions with Black women leaders, entrepreneurs, business leaders, again, all members of the B Marketplace. B Marketplace, what's that? Well, B, what's that? BEE. Of course, these are all queen bees, leaders. And that's how I address them. That's how I want you to know them as well. So we have invited several of the queen bees, members of the bee marketplace, and also their teammates at Black Women's Wealth Alliance to continue this conversation. I want to begin by asking Mercedes to jump in and talk about, you're the, I think, the business director of Black Women's Wealth Alliance. Is it Mercedes Jaime or is it Jaime Mercedes? I'm not sure if I'm saying it right.
Good afternoon. It's Mercedes Jaime, and I am the business director for the Black Women's Wealth Alliance, and I'm very happy to be here with our entrepreneurs. Let me tell you a little bit about the Black Women's Wealth Alliance. So, as Al mentioned, our aim is to increase the economic stability and prosperity of the historical Black women in our community, to enable them to continue to build Black generational wealth. And we do that by offering our clients 5 core competencies. And these are the competencies in which we focus: wealth literacy, business leadership and strategy, professional development, social capital. In addition to all of that, we also provide a small capacity grants towards Black women, women's wealth, for their goals and aspirations for their businesses. And if you wouldn't mind, I would like to tell you a little bit more about behind the scenes, some of the things and how this happened.
Absolutely. And we've got time.
Wonderful.
Time. So I want everybody to be relaxed. Let me say before you do that, to tell you that from the point of view of Al McFarlane and Conversations with Al McFarlane, Insight News, our mission, our job today and every day is to lift you up. Our intent is to promote you, and to promote you with a sense of enthusiasm and support that helps you continue on your path to being successful entrepreneurs. And so I want to make sure that nobody passes up an opportunity to promote their brand. Make sure you give people in the course of this hour your phone number, your email address. If you have your website handy, have it up and ready to do a screen share. And you can even walk our people through your website to talk about what you're doing. So this is really your moment. And my job is simply to facilitate and to support. And any way you want to carry this conversation, count on me to support that. So Mercedes, go ahead. First, Mercedes, Jaime Mercedes, Latina?
Yes, I am Latina.
¿De dónde?
El Salvador.
Bueno, mucho gusto en conocerla. Yo soy cubano.
Oh, mucho gusto en conocerla.
Y creo que es importante que estamos hablando de afrodescendientes, el mundo afrodescendiente. Voy a hacer programas en el futuro hablando de nuestras experiencias.
Sí, experiencias.
Claro. Bueno. So good to meet you. So you guys, I was saying to Mercedes that I'm a Cuban, Afro-Cuban, and it's important that we begin to talk about the Afro-Latino, Afro-Cuban world, that our people, Black people, Africans in the New World are many, and we are all over South America, Central America, and North America. Too often we think here in the States that it's just us, but that's not the case. And to the degree that we begin to wake up and see that there are cousins and friends and people like us all throughout, the Caribbean and Central America, Mexico, throughout South America. We broaden our horizons. We can become customers for each other. We are a huge market, and our market is not just our neighborhood, because now our market is the world, and we are in the world. So that's my point. That's my aside. Mercedes, go ahead.
Well, thank you. And Cuba is a beautiful country. I had an opportunity to visit. But let me tell you a little bit more about the behind the scenes of the bee marketplace. So under the leadership of our CEO, Kenya McKnight Ahad, in 2020, 41% of Black businesses closed their doors, and more than 130,000 Black women were fired or furloughed from their workplace. So because of that, the Black Women's Wealth Alliance kept a close eye on that and observed a significant increase in new business startups during the time. And, one of the things that was very relevant was that businesses were seeking financial and technical assistance in order to sustain and reinvent themselves as they were struggling through this 2020 economic loss. So many of those businesses came to the Black Women's Wealth Alliance, but they lacked the necessary technology and marketing skills, the equipment, and funds to build a digital presence. And as you know, with the pandemic and the social unrest, many of our brick and mortars were closed, right? Mm-hmm. So at that time, the bee marketplace was established. It was a pilot program with 34 Black women in our community, business owners. Among the many services many of these businesses offered throughout the bee marketplace were marketing education, social media, website overhauls, sales tracking tools, and capacity grants. So the bee marketplace is a critical platform for our historically Black women-owned businesses because it provides visibility, viability of Black businesses impacted by COVID-19, the civil uprisings as a result of the murder of Mr. George Floyd. So here we are, the second year in the bee marketplace. It's an online cultural marketplace showcasing you, the women entrepreneurs that represent the Black Women's Wealth Alliance. And we will be open until January 30th. So we are excited to have you. We are excited to have many of you come back to the second, and please share the posts, the links, the Facebooks, and our team is here to help and promote and elevate you and help you grow your business. So thank you so much, Al.
That's great. Well, we'll come back to you and talk more. While you're talking, I'm sitting here using my social media and sharing. I just want to sort of shout out some of the groups that I always post this to. There's a group called DNA Cousins Connect, a group called Sustaining Creative Resources. I send this to them. A group called Professor McGee on Justice in Black and White. One called Share for Article. One called Renaissance, The Birth of the Cool. Another called Rebel Beauties Revamped. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I've got them on my list. Jamaican Foods, Fashion, and Entertainment is one. Post Your Stuff is one. I send this out to Black-owned businesses in Minnesota and to a website called the African Family Reunion, to North Talk, a Northside group, to my friends at the Major Taylor Bicycling Club. I connect this to the Oromia support group. We're international. We really are. And so my goal is just to get as many people as I can. Some of you are getting these notifications. I'm telling you why right now, because I appreciate you and think that what we're doing in these conversations is of value to you. I send this out to the National League of African American Women Voters and to those who are members of the International Year for People of African Descent. I send it out to a group called Family 1000. This is interesting because that's a group for the Sykes family, Sykes. And I've mentioned this several times. I'll keep saying it because it's fun to say. Kenya and I are cousins. Didn't know it until I went to my family, one of the Sykes family websites. The Sykes family is this is on my mother's side, out of Mississippi, right? And I'm on the website one day and I look up and I see Kenya on there. So I call, said, Kenya, what you doing on my family website? And so she said, what you doing on my family? Find out through my mother's side, we're related. And so that's how small the world is. And that's how wonderful it is to discover ourselves and each other. So we send out to the Sykes. And if there's any Sykes listening right now, I have a feeling that just like Kenya is entrepreneurial and I'm entrepreneurial, that probably entrepreneurship runs in our bloodline. So I want to, in the future, create a program that just brings Sykeses together to talk about what we have discovered, what we've learned, what we've done. And I do that not only for us, but for others, like all the members of this panel and of the Alliance and of the marketplace, to do the same thing. Let's reach out to all of our family members and say, look, let's rebrand ourselves for our entrepreneurial accomplishments, our achievements, and for our vision. So I just want to share that. Thank you so much. So let me start the conversation by inviting Latoya and Shamika and Detiance. Help me say it right. Detiance.
Is Detiance.
I said it right the first time.
Yeah, you said it right the
Okay,
first time.
great.
Yeah.
We welcome you, and Brittany Carter. Welcome all of you. I'm going to start with Latoya J. Burrell. And Latoya, I'm going to pass the mic to you. I want you to introduce yourself, your business. And I have some general questions I ask all my entrepreneurial friends. The general train of thought is, what brought you to be an entrepreneur? And what is that voice or experience in you, around you, that sets you on this road, right? What are your expectations? What are your desires? And what vision is pulling you into your future? So Latoya, say hello, first of all, and welcome, and talk about the bold Latoya Burrell.
Wonderful. Good afternoon, everyone, and pleasure to connect again. I had an opportunity to do this interview with you a year ago for the inaugural B Marketplace. So it's a pleasure to share space with everyone today and just briefly introduce myself. As stated, my name is Latoya Burrell, and my business is The Bold Latoya Burrell. I also go by Be Bold Consultant. That's the official LLC, but my website is just theboldlatoyaburrell.com. And I think it's fitting for us to have this discussion on the fourth day of Kwanzaa, all about cooperative economics. And that is essentially what the B Marketplace is all about, focusing on us lifting as we uplift one another and us being supported as we support one another. So just to give just the background on how I ended up in this space per your question, I did not seek out entrepreneurship. It just by default happened, and I'm so grateful for it. What happened was last year I wrote a book after George Floyd was murdered right here in Minneapolis called Be Bold, How to Prepare Your Heart and Mind for Racial Reconciliation. And as a result of the book, I got the opportunity to do a lot of speaking and a lot of presenting on diversity and inclusion, racial reconciliation. And the question that I continued to get was just, what can I do? How can I help? How can I be a resource? And that led me to making it a formal business and not only selling the book, having the book sales, but actually putting myself out there to conduct. So since then, I've become a certified DE&I professional, and I've done a lot of DE&I training and business leadership and DE&I consulting. So it's been a journey, and it's a pleasure to be in this space. And, one thing I'll say before passing the mic back is I don't want any of the work that we do or any of the uplifting we do to feel like a movement or to feel like a moment, but instead a movement. So excuse me. So of course, this time last year, all of the companies around us were making their statements. They were seeking training for their workforce and trying to find out how can they support and uplift Black businesses. And my response would be, why let it stop in 2022 or 2021? It's something that should follow us as we continue to move forward, because that's the only way that we continue to improve and be better together, is if we support and uplift one another. So I feel like this is a call out, or a charge out even, to those companies who responded in a moment, to understand that there's power in investing in Black businesses and Black communities.
And that's not just a moment, it's a movement.
Absolutely.
And the movement implies and requires sustained engagement and transformational engagement. That's great. Thanks. I'm going to come back to you. Shanika, would you change your name and put in your full name and your business name? I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes, okay? But update your description so people can see your full name. But I'm going to go next to Detance Graves, owner of D-Style Hair Care. Detance?
DTance.
Detance. Okay. Detance, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for being here. Tell me your story.
So I think I got into the field of, I'm a hairstylist. I specialize in natural hair care and color. I pretty much grew up in a hair salon. My mom's a hairstylist. She's been doing hair for I think like 31 years. So that's kind of where I kind of picked it up from. Originally, when I finished high school, I didn't go to hair school. I went to school for fashion. So I did that and got my associate's degree. And it was kind of like, it was fun, but I wanted something different. So I went to school and got my license. And it'll be 10 years for me this next year in July. So.
And so when and how did the awareness come to you that you wanted to do something different, not the fashion that you started with, but you wanted to settle
when
on?
I had my daughter in 2011, my first daughter. So I knew I needed something that was gonna, be a career for me, something more permanent, and something that I can pass along to her, and I can pretty much I can take hair wherever. You can do hair with with the license wherever you want. So
what's happening with you now business wise during the past year and the pandemic? What has it meant for traffic, for sales, and how have you navigated your business through the challenge of COVID-19?
I've navigated just it's had its ups and downs. Some of my clients returned once after COVID and some didn't. Initially, when COVID hit, I had just had my second child, so it was kind of like time for me to bond with my kids. So I kind of needed the break a little bit, just because I'm always busy with my clients. So it was kind of like a refresher. But then once we got back in the swing of things, and of course, like you said, sales changed, people then returned, definitely had to make adjustments according to what was gonna be best, for going on, like, and especially now, even with like the holidays, believe it or not, around this time of year, it slows down. So still having to kind of, adjust with that, and with COVID coming back around. So it's definitely, I don't know, I've just managed to keep my clients managed to still come. So that keeps me afloat.
Where do you work from? Where's your shop?
It's in South Minneapolis, so kind of in the heart of where everything happened. So I not only experienced COVID, I experienced the George Floyd riot things as well. So,
well, let's make sure before the program's over, you give the address, the phone number, the website, the email address, so that somebody that needs to connect with you today knows how to reach you. Okay.
Okay.
We'll do that. So I see Shanika has put her full information. Shanika Greer is with Her Shoe Fetish. Shanika, welcome. Good afternoon. Good to see you. Now your volume is low. I hear you, but you're way low. So you turn your volume up or move into your microphone or use headsets or a microphone if you have it.
Is it better?
Not really.
Okay. You may have to come back to me because I need to figure this
See if you do you have any headsets or anything that you can put on,
out.
or like a headset with a microphone on it. So because your voice is way back. Hopefully she'll come back on. Brittany Carter is here. Brittany is proprietor of Bestie B. Is that it?
Yes, Bestie
Bestie
B Crafts
B
and Treats.
Crafts and Treats.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, Bestie B is just pretty much me. And then my crafts is like my t-shirts and like tumblers and things that I make for people.
Mm-hmm.
And treats, I do strawberry boxes, I do pretzels, I do dessert tables for like events as well. I honestly had like when I first started, this was like right before COVID, I had my Cricut machine, which is what I currently use for my t-shirts right now. I've had that Cricut for years before. I was just always intimidated by the Cricut because there's so much to do. Like it's so much to learn, so much to get into.
So
So I had it.
first of all, you over my head already. What's a Cricut machine?
A Cricut machine is like a device basically that connects to your computer,
Mm-hmm.
and it allows you to print out your design so that you could apply it to a shirt.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was always afraid of it, but I've had it for years. And then I just was like, just do it. And then COVID hit like probably a month later. And then I was like, okay, I've had my practice. I can get it. So then I started just doing little things for like family members, just originally, just because you can't just jump off into the boat and then just start selling, and you're trying to perfect your craft. So I was doing like shirts and stuff for like my mom or my sisters and stuff like that. Well, mainly my sister because she was always over the house asking me to make her a shirt. So I started doing things for them first, and I was like getting really good. And then like I started like posting some of my things on my Facebook page and like shirts that I've done for my mom, shirts I've done for my sister, a shirt that I made for my dad randomly. And people were asking me about it. So I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be so afraid of it and like really start putting myself out there. So that helped me a lot when the COVID hit, because jobs shut down. I was in the school system and we was out of school. It just was so random. Like we just like when they gave us COVID, like it dropped school the next week. We didn't go back. It was like so weird. It was just like a ghost town almost. And then so that actually helped me because I was able to just do my crafts and stuff like that while I was at home. It gave me a lot of time to focus on my business and get it perfected. And then I started to move on to like bigger things, like another machine called sublimation. So I started sublimating, which is like another form of like a print on a shirt. And then that made everything a little bit easier because it's a little bit of a quicker process, a little bit more expensive, but my clientele picked up a lot. And then after COVID kind of started to die down a little bit, you could say, I was doing my treats like my strawberries and my wine boxes and things of that. And that picked up because Mother's Day coming around, no one's trying to go to the stores and shop. So it was good. And then I was in a bee market and they actually helped me so much. Like I was able to get my sublimation machine from the grant of last year. I was able to get like just products to keep up because I was kind of like in a delay, even though shipping was still slow because it was like COVID, the shipping was slow, but I was able to keep up with my customers when it came to like t-shirts and demand because I was able to order a little bit more than just as to order basically. And yeah, I don't know. That's it.
Well, wonderful. I love the theme I'm seeing here and hearing here of people being able to pivot. We were all facing a disaster of tsunamic proportions, facing the unknown. And what we were hearing every day on CNN and from the CDC was certainly not encouraging, but frightening and real. And so all of our lives, as you said, Brittany, were upended. One day You're doing your regular thing. Next day, it's a ghost town. I remember downtown, a ghost town. Then you add to that the impact of the George Floyd reckoning. In our community, it reconfigured, changed everything, how we do things, how we connect, and how we relate. But you all represent this powerful and irrepressible uh, resilience and the ability to intuit uh, the change required, the pivot required to remain relevant and actually to grow and prosper. And I want to thank you all for that. I'm going to come back to you for more, Brittany. I see Shanika is back. Shanika Greer. Let's try your sound again. Unmute first, if you would, Shanika. Let's see if we can hear you better.
Okay. Hello, can you guys hear me okay now?
I hear you perfectly. Thank you so much.
Yes? Oh,
Yeah,
perfect. Okay.
absolutely.
Sorry. So, hi, everyone. My name is Shanika, and I'm the owner of Her Shoe Fetish.
Tell us about the company. What's the concept? What's the
Okay.
product? Where are you? How does it work? And how do
Okay.
people engage your services?
Okay. So, Her Shoe Fetish is a women owned shoe company by myself. Um, Started when I was a kid from my mom, just a love of shoes, her love of fashion, and I just kind of fell in love with just shoes. To me, they always made a woman feel so beautiful wherever, however, where she was going to work, home, grocery store. Right now, I am online. Um, and I picked up, it was a hobby for me. Like I said, I love shoes. So I picked up a hobby as a little girl. And then one day, let's say about 3 years ago, I was on my living room floor. Um, Telling myself I needed to do something more, the freedom to create. I was just always running around wanting to just do more, make people smile, make people feel good. And for me, it was shoes. So I started researching, I got on my phone, I started researching, how can I start a shoe business? And it was just a hobby to keep me from, just life, just I work, I'm a mom. I worked more than one job for so many years, just trying to keep up with society and just with the world. And I was just bored with myself. So I started to sell shoes. And I noticed that when I did that, I was doing it for myself. I was shopping for me, but then I just showed the world what I had going on, posted on my Facebook page that I had shoes for sale, and it just kind of went from there. Throughout this pandemic, I have maintained a full-time job because, of course, life has to happen. I got to provide for my family. And the pandemic happened, and I needed something to keep me going because now I've developed this passion of selling shoes. And I'm business, like, here I am, a single mother, creating my own business while still working, while still taking care of family and friends. And I did it throughout the pandemic. I learned that you had to get creative in how you were going to meet your clientele or how you were going to continue to keep business going. Now my business has become a goal of mine that I can see myself doing full time. I would like to become a full time entrepreneur where, I'm no longer working for someone else, but at this time life is still happening. So I have to do both, but it's made me a stronger person, I could say. I feel like women, we handle so many different hats and we can just do so many different things. And now that I have tested myself in being an entrepreneur, I see, like, we're just phenomenal, and no offense to you, a man, but hey, I love being a woman, and I'm just so grateful to just meet all these beautiful women who have stepped out on their own faith to believe in themselves and just actually take an initiative to do whatever it is they want to do, whatever they provide or services, or whatever they bring to the table. Is just amazing to actually believe in yourself and step out and do that. So that's really why I'm here. It's not about the money or anything. I don't really have a lot of family, so just us women uniting and coming together just to support one another means so much more to me than just being a business owner. I live here, but it's teaching me, it's really teaching me. Like, I appreciate you guys, honestly. So that's why I'm here. Sorry.
Well, that's a wonderful and powerful story. And I'll speak on behalf of the guys, on behalf of men. Any of us that doesn't recognize and celebrate and lift up the genius of women is a fool. Simple as that, right? Why would I ever cut off half of me? Right? Nobody is alone. We need each other, right? And I think together we move towards and demonstrate perfection. And I think that has to be the ongoing goal, is to move towards being as perfect or as close to perfect as we can. And we have to do that with each other, through each other, celebrating each other, not destroying each other, not doubting, not being jealous, but being appreciative and applauding each other. So I want to, Shamika, again, thank you for what you're doing and for your clarity in describing the feelings that motivate you, because I think those are real and royal. So compliments to you and all of the women here who are part of the B Marketplace. Mercedes, jump in and work with me on this. I want to make sure that we put everything in context and keep coming back to this idea of why it is so important that we ensure that the creative and entrepreneurial skill and capacity of Black women has the room to nurture itself and to grow and to change our community, our families, to create generational wealth, and in doing so, change the world. What do you think, Mercedes?
Well, as everyone mentioned, 2020 was really a significant emotional event for many. My grandfather used to say, "No hay mal que por bien no venga." When something bad happens, something good comes of it.
Uh-huh.
And we have seen that the pandemic and the murder of Mr. George Floyd, that was really the soil that allowed for these women that we have here, inspiring women, to create innovative businesses. And it is important for our community to have an organization such as the Black Women's Wealth Alliance that is here to help and represent and create generational wealth for historically Black women. That is really our mission. We have a terrific team, members, staff. We don't do this alone, right? We have Brittany Alexander, who's our campaign manager. She has done a phenomenal job. Jasine Patterson, she has been communicating with a lot of our businesses. Darshiria Hatcher, she has been issuing out the grants for the businesses. It all comes together. And of course, we couldn't do all of this without the vision and mission, of Kenya, the visionary leader of the organization. And so it is empirical that we take a step, we look back and we say, how can we make this significant emotional event work for us, right? We are here, what I like to call the groundswell. Minneapolis is the groundswell where things happen. And why not? Why not have an organization like the Black Women's Wealth Alliance helping people with technical assistance, helping them with, grants, helping them just to be in the B marketplace. I mean, just pivoting, this whole B marketplace, I'm sure it's going to pivot. I'm sure, our leaders are going to have some great information, and we will have feedback from the entrepreneurs that have been a part of it. So everything we will pivot, and we will be part of that groundswell that helps our historically Black women create generational wealth. That's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love the fact that all of these women took an opportunity, took a significant emotional event, and created something from it.
Let me go around the table again and ask each of these leaders to talk about their personal story. Latoya, I'm going to start with you. First of all, love the name. I mean, there's something audacious about declaring your business as the bold Latoya Burrell. I think it takes that. That's what it requires. If you're going to be out here, you got to be out here with gusto, with heart, with courage, and with confidence. And your name is the beginning of the expression and reflection of a certain confidence. You are claiming space in the market by declaring who you are. But tell me, Latoya, your personal story
Wonderful. Thank you. So
to the degree
yes,
that you want to. I think,
I love that you pointed out the whole idea of being bold. As I tell people often, I have to practice what I preach, because what I said was, and this is a quote from someone who it went viral on Facebook. And it was a young woman who said, I've often been the quiet Black girl because I don't want to be confused as the angry Black woman. And she said, well, no more. And I was like, yes, like what she said, I agree with that wholeheartedly, because sometimes the timidness is not because we're timid. It's because for me, and I've heard the trend from my co members on today. I have kids, and I have something to protect. And so for me, even writing my book, it was like, well, what if my well-intended message is taken the wrong way? And I risk what I've worked for, what I've worked hard for. And then I thought about it. I'm like, well, you can't stand in fear. You have to be bold and know that even if that door closes, another door is going to open. So, just to sum up, you asked about my background. I tell people often, my parents were teenage parents, unwed teenage parents. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. And I can say firsthand how people say things like, if you lift up a girl, you change the world, or how education can change things. And for me, it's like I am proof that it has changed things for me. So not even just the trajectory that my life has taken. So by trade, I'm a lawyer by trade. I'm not practicing law. I have an active law license, and I have a business background. But for me, for the first time, I felt like, well, if you have this, what do you do with it? And so even the book has stemmed to all of the consulting. It has stemmed to me doing keynote and public speaking, motivational speaking. And not to make it about race, but I can tell you, I've discovered in the last year, we're really not present in that keynote motivational speaking for profit space. We're not there.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do I spread the message to
and it's a big
encourage us
business.
to share our stories?
It's a huge business.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And so you've come into it. You what inspires you? What gives you confidence when you're moving into spaces or territory that you're not as familiar with? When you're breaking new ground, what is it that keeps you going?
What keeps me going is I know that I come from a resilient line of people. I look back to, 400 years of resilience. So I know that whatever it is to be done, I could do it. Whatever, if you give me, I tell people this, my mindset too. If you give me lemons, I'm going to make lemonade. You give me an opportunity and I'm going to make the most of it. So for me, it's knowing the resilience of the lineage that I come from, and also looking forward at my little boys. So I have 2 little boys, and I tell people, they'll say, well, what made you write a book after George Floyd was killed? And I said, I heard this grown man crying out for his mother. And it got real for me, because I have 2 little boys who, no matter how I raise them and what I instill in them, the world is going to see them as Black men. So for me, it got personal. And for me, I'm on a mission to make a change for the generation to follow. And I know I can do it because of the resilience of the lineage that I come from, that we all come from.
Have you done DNA? Do you know exactly who your line is? Or
No, I have not. I've talked about doing it, and I joke with, I have a few friends who are Liberian, and I'll say things like, I know I'm Liberian, just joking about it, right? But no, I have not done the ancestry, so I don't know.
Okay, well, it's interesting. I mean, I've done it. I've done it a couple of times, and I'm into genealogy, and but before I got into it, I came to understand, and I think you understand this, that you have feelings, you have sort of an indwelling knowledge that you can't explain, but it comes in and through your DNA. And so what I know is that all of our ancestors, whether we know them or not, are still with us.
Absolutely.
And you have people for millennia around you and in you, speaking. Sometimes you can hear them, sometimes you can't, but they are providing direction, guidance, inspiration, and protection. And so that's kind of what I think. Figuring out ways to examine that genealogy simply validates the feelings, the things that you intuit. There's a thing called retentions of African culture. And it's that even though we might have been 7 or 8 or 9 generations away from a thing or an idea or an experience, somehow we do certain things or say certain things or move certain ways. But those are genetic expressions of ways of knowing. And the ways of knowing come from our cultural and physical, biological, and geographical history. So I'm digressing. Thank you for your comments. Any feedback on that? What are your thoughts?
No, I think what you just said is spot on. So you geographically, I'm from Louisiana. I was born and raised right outside of New Orleans. I moved to Minnesota in 2013. And even though I don't, like, to me, that's an entirely different story. Without the genealogy, us not having the privilege to be able to say, well, I'm this or I'm that, because that was stripped away from us. And it takes something like, ancestry.com or genealogy searches to be able to tell. And the only thing I do know is German. And I know German because I have a friend who's from St. Paul, and we took them to New Orleans a few years ago. They wanted to go on a plantation tour. Long story short, on the plantation tour, the presumption was that we were tourists. And I was like, well, actually, I grew up a few miles away from here. She asked me, who are your people? And when I said my mom's maiden name is Darensburg, she said, oh, yeah, German. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So then I went on, I got on a mission of doing some research on Darensburg and the linkage to Germany. Didn't even know that a German man, last name Darensburg, is credited for saving New Orleans from famine. And so for me to know, okay, that strength, and then clearly the African strength, it's like we come from a group of strong people and we can do anything that we put our minds to.
Amazing. Brittany, let me come to you with the same question. What's your personal story? How did you come to, you said it already, but say it again. What brought you to this passion for being the entrepreneur that you have become?
Well, I've always been crafty, and I've always been the type to always want to make something or do art projects, or I've always loved painting or making bracelets. Just growing up as a kid, I've always been that one. And
do you see yourself as an artist? Are you an artist?
Well, I don't know how to paint good pictures.
Well, I bet you whatever you paint is good. Yeah.
Yeah. I can do little things, but not amazing. But I've always just loved just making stuff. I even love cooking. I just love anything about creating something that someone loves or likes that makes me feel good. If I can make them a shirt and they love the shirt because that's what they want, or if I could cook them a good meal and I could watch them eat and they're happy about it. I just love creating and making things. So that's what kind of just brought me into just doing it, jumping into it. So
talk about your family line. Are there other entrepreneurs in your lineage that you know?
Well, I don't know any other entrepreneurs but currently right now, my cousin and auntie, they have a food truck, and they're currently doing that right now. And it's called the Green Band Truck, and it's based in Minneapolis, North Minneapolis or whatever. And they're pursuing that right now. So they're cookers too. And so, well, my cousin ain't a cooker, but my auntie sure is a cooker. And She even cooks currently at the Gold Room on Sundays. And I don't know, our whole family's kind of been in the cooking. And my auntie also wants to open up a restaurant one day. She wants to make a YouTube and have us film her while she cooks in the kitchen. It's just, I think my family just all likes to provide. Our families are a big provider, and we love to see people happy, and we've been through a lot, our family. So when we can put a smile on somebody's face, it's worth it.
Do you have a website?
I have a Facebook page. I don't have a website yet.
Can you pull it up?
Page is best to be Crafts and
Can you
Treats.
pull it up and share it with us?
Oh, let me see. I'll be forgetting my password, so give me a second.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna go to DTiance.
Okay, DTiance, go girl.
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, same question. I'm having a good time just talking to you all and learning about you and listening to you. So I hope that you're having as much a good time as I am. Number one, but DTN, same question about motivation. Uh, what brought you to the confidence that you have to move into doing the business you do, and how you see the world?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say my mom, definitely her doing it for as long as she has. Hair is not easy. Different, definitely deal with the, the battles of like, if is this something I really want to do. Building a steady clientele is not as easy as people think it is. So just sticking with it and staying with it. During the pandemic, I decided to make a website for like hair care products that I sell, was just selling just to my clients.
Hmm.
So I actually started building the website, getting like labels and stuff for the products that I was selling. I came up with new stuff like bonnets and sell silk scarves and stuff like that. So I made a website. Doing so, I then was it my daughter wanted to start making lip gloss. So I put a tab on there for her. So she also has her own little business where people can purchase her stuff as well as mine.
Hmm.
So yeah, just anything just to support women and kids and men on, taking care of their hair, tools that they can use. Any questions? I'm gonna soon in the new year start blogging. So just blogging about different topics that people may, have.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um questions about simple stuff like wrapping your hair. I know a lot of people struggle with wrapping their hair. It's funny, years ago I did a YouTube video on how to wrap your hair. So I don't know. I don't ever check to see how many people viewed it or not. But so yeah, I just love um helping people take care of their hair. Like I that's something that I love to do, and learning new things about hair. Hair constantly changes. So I think that's kind of what keeps you going, is the constant like change.
Hmm.
Like change when someone comes sit in your chair and they just like, oh, well, I want you to chop it all off today. And it's just like, really? You want it all off? Or they want to go from black to being blonde. So
Hmm.
it's just that I think that's the part of it that keeps it going. After having my second daughter though, I did decide to start working smarter and not harder. So I had kind of cut back my availability, and I kind of saw that kind of put in creating a website. So that created like a, maybe I guess to say like a standard of what kind of clientele I got. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And they more respectful of like your time and different stuff like that. So I definitely felt like that helped. Just help me continue to grow, because the website they can email me, they can ask me questions, they can see pictures, they can book services. It has everything that they, any questions that they have, cost of the services as well. I do have social media websites that are just strictly for, my business, but my website where they can go and schedule their appointment also has everything that they need to get in contact with me.
I imagine you must just know a whole lot about hair. you know,
I
and,
would.
and I'm saying that because I mean I'm listening to you, but as you're talking, I'm thinking about how much study just through your work, and maybe even formal study, it has been required for you to be the expert that you are in what hair is and how it works and what you can do with it and how hair makes people feel.
Hmm.
Because, I, well, when I used to go to the barber shop, it was it was partly to get the haircut, but it was also partly to have the interaction with the barber or the stylist. And
Yep.
I know that you all really, in many ways, are just like therapists for a lot
Yeah.
of people because they bring you everything, and at least you listen and probably you share, suggestions for people, or you listen. People need someone to listen to, but you have to know the product, know the craft or the business, and yours is hair. And so, how would you describe your relationship with hair? And I asked this from my own background as a writer. I can tell you a lot about my relationship with what I call the word, my relationship with language, with words. So I'm
Mhm.
presuming that the way I feel about words, you probably have the same feeling about hair. Maybe. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely even though like I said it's almost been 10 years. So you definitely have to keep your education, invest in yourself. So it's not uh the state does now require you to when you renew your license to take sanitation and like a refresher class now. So I think that's good just because some people don't ever do education once they're done with school, and they don't require you to. um but yeah, I would think the thing that, like I said, the constant change of it, and then just learning something new. Like I love to take a class or support someone, who's giving classes to see something different. Everybody, I feel like everyone does something different. They have a niche. They have something that they're good at, and that's kind of what it's about. You have to find what you're good at, in the business. And because of course there's all types of different other avenues to take with hair, and that and you can that you can cater to that crowd of people who love that service. So yeah, but I definitely think it's important that you invest back into your education of hair, whether it's like hair shows or just whatever online classes. I know a lot of the local professional beauty supply stores, they offer classes. So like the different product lines, they offer classes, and then too you can find out what's new as far as like different products, which constantly change too. You constantly getting people who are there's so many hair care lines, there's so many like natural hair care lines, like so you have to, because your clients ask you, well, what do you think I should use, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like I've learned with natural hair and wearing it in its natural state, you have to kind of find what works for you. So I can
Mhm.
tell you a product, but it's also what you're experiencing with your own hair. Like if it's something you're going to do, at home on a daily basis versus, coming to see me to the salon all the time. So, but yeah, it's definitely important just to know what's out there, or, and just educate yourself.
Shanika, let me close with you. Same question. How did you? I should ask each of you. Take a second and be prepared to show me your website or your Facebook page, and I'll come back around and ask you to put it up just so people see it, and
Okay.
have you let people know how to reach you. But and we'll do that starting with Latoya, then Brittany, then DeTeance, and then Shanika. Maybe you can bring yours up right now if you have your web page handy. But as you do that, yeah, Brittany, you got to go. I understand. That's fine. Thank you. Uh, Shanika, respond to the same question.
So for me,
Yeah.
my personal connection with this was I want to just make people feel comfortable. I want to make them feel good. Um, a lot of times, just growing up, my mom was a single mom, of two girls, and she did her very best to provide us with a life that she wanted us to be proud of. And just seeing her work so hard, just really seeing her achieve all the goals that she wanted to, while being a single mother and raising two daughters on her own, and probably not having that background that she probably wanted for a foundation, as a child growing up into a young lady. So shoes always made me smile. A new pair of shoes, my shoes are on the more of the affordability side, where I want to be able to cater to many people. They're affordable, they're good quality, and it's the service that I provide versus the product that I'm selling you is what I leave with. I leave with my customers becoming friends. I have so many returning clients. Even throughout the pandemic, I can just tell you that my clients are what kept me going and wanting to learn more about entrepreneurship, wanting to know about, how can I be a successful Black woman in this world, and, really build my business. And I'm just so grateful for this opportunity with BWWA, because when I met Miss Kenya, she lit a fire inside of me, because wow, she was just so headstrong for us women. She was so like, you know what, ladies, we're going to figure this out. We're going to find out what we can do to service you and assist you and help you get to those goals that you're trying to achieve. And I've never had anybody who I've never met before, never heard of, go to bat for me like that. She really made me feel important, that what I was doing was so worth it. Was so worth it. And I'm only selling shoes. I'm only selling shoes because it was a passion of mine that made me smile as a small child. And for her to tell me, look, you're a woman and you're out here trying, and I want to give you the resources to help you make it to where you're trying to get to. Not only just you, but you and also many other women. It shows me sisterhood. It shows me support. It shows me so much more than just, like I said before, running a business. This for me is world changing. It's life changing. It's going to show our kids how we can work together. Versus what they said back in the day we couldn't. And I'm just, this is so personal to me because I'm growing on levels more than just financially. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm meeting people, I'm supporting people, I'm making those things familiar. I'm making it where it's not foreign anymore. It's what we're supposed to do now, and it's a smile on my face when I'm doing it. I'm just, listen, y'all see the smiles. So this for me is just really just because I want to uplift, and that's why I'm doing it. That's why it's personal to me.
Your energy is coming across just the way you intended. Latoya, did you pull your website up by any chance?
I did pull up my website, and I will say to Shanika, you definitely are right that her energy is coming across, and I echo her sentiment of the gratitude to Kenya and the Black Women Wealth Alliance. I'm indebted and just so appreciative of the support that they've shown.
We're going to go a few minutes over time. It's 2:07 now. We usually close at 2, but this is such an important conversation. We may have to break it up into more pieces later on for re-showing it, but I don't want to miss the opportunity to have you all put on the screen your website or social media, and to get final comments for this program. This has been delightful for me. I'm so glad to meet you all and to be associated with you, and I celebrate you and I salute you. Latoya, can you share yours?
Yes, I can.
I want to say while you're doing that we are streaming live to the national website of Black Press USA. I'm a member of the National Newspaper Publishers Association. So you can also follow this or come back and look at it again at Black Press USA Facebook page. So we're going live to our national audience there as well.
Okay. I will share this screen and then I'm going to switch tabs. Mm-hmm. So if you can just tell me when you see it. Do you see it?
Not yet. Now we do.
You do?
Yep, the bold. Yep.
Yeah, so that's the website, and there's different tabs. So there's an About Me tab. There's a tab that's focused on the book, and to see all that I'm doing, I keep the events tab updated, and then the service tab has the services that I offer and how to contact me. You can click there or click on contact, and it takes you to the little contact form. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Shanika, could you pull your website up or your social media page?
Are you guys talking to me?
Yep. Can you pull your social media page up or web page up?
So
Are you able to?
I do have a website, but honestly, I am not trying to get booted out of here when I get out of here.
Okay, got it. That's fine.
What's your website, Shanika? What's your website?
Yeah, Latoya could share it.
Hello?
Is it her shoe fetish?
Hello? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, is your website Her Shoe Fetish?
Hello?
No, you're not hearing us. Can you search it and see
Hello?
if you see it?
I did find her
I
shoe
can't hear
fetish.
you guys.
Okay. Pull it up.
I think that this is it that I found in Hopkins. I'll share.
Okay. Let's see if this is it.
Hopefully it's the right one.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Can you see her shoe fetish?
Not yet, but
Okay, I'm
there we
back
go.
now.
Is that one you,
Thank
Shanika?
you. Whoever did that. Yes, that's me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for whoever did that. I'm so sorry.
Latoya did it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So-
Latoya. I
You're
appreciate you for
welcome.
doing that.
You are
I see
welcome.
everyone. Hey, check me out. Check me out.
Yeah. So I'm just
Beautiful.
slowly scrolling. Yes.
Thank you.
She has all of the
Thanks so
shoes
much.
and her Instagram link, as well as the tabs for you to be able to shop or about us and contact us. So I clicked on the Instagram. So
There we go. All right, listen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Mercedes, I'm going to leave the last word to you. And Mercedes, thank you. Thank Black Women's Wealth Alliance, my cousin, Kenya McKnight Ahad. Thank you all for making this happen. What's your final instruction or invitation to our listeners to support the B Marketplace?
Well, first of all, thank you for the time that you have gifted us. I would say to all of our participants in the B Marketplace, get up every day and think about this. I have the sign in my office, my home office, that says, "What would you do if you knew you could not fail?" And then the other thing that I do as, a motto for myself, surround yourself with women who would mention your name in a room full of opportunities. And this is really what we're trying to do here at the Black Women's Wealth Alliance and also with the B Marketplace, is to help all of the women to be able to provide. And let me share my screen here so you guys can see the, I don't know if you can see it now.
Yeah, we can. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So this is our website, and it talks about how to support historically Black women business owners, which is very important. Talks about the pollination of prosperity and how we as women can support other women. And here are the categories, the different categories where you can go in and support all of the historically Black women-owned companies here in the Black Women's Wealth Alliance. And also, we would like to take a special thanks to our presenter sponsor, Bremer Bank, and all of the other sponsors. We couldn't do this without them. We couldn't be able to be the force behind, the fact that we are helping women to do the things that are innovative. So again, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? And surround yourself in a group such as the B Marketplace, where your name can be mentioned in a room of opportunities for your business success.
We're going to close it right there. What a wonderful way to end the program. Latoya, thank you. Shanika, thank you so much. And to the other leaders that left us, thank you all. Mercedes, Jaime, thank you so much. Vamos a hablar más tarde y vamos a trabajar. La lucha continúa. Okay, take care. Good night.
Thank you.
Goodbye.